everyone, how are you all? Welcome one more time to IELTS Lunch Break with Fabi. Okay, so here I'll give you all the information you need to get a 7+ in the writing part of the IELTS exam. Okie dokie. All right, so welcome again. Okay, so I don't know if you managed to see last week's live. Okay, if you haven't, that's fine because it's available on YouTube. So Fabi English on YouTube. All right, so last week was pretty cool because we talked about the structure of the writing, okay, and how sometimes people with really good English can't get the 7 just because the structure of their writing is not very good, so they can't get that, okay. And on Wednesday we talked about the fact that honestly, okay, all you need to get a 7+ on the IELTS exam in the writing part is a good piece of writing. Okay, so last Wednesday we talked about what makes a good piece of writing, okay, generally speaking, and of course in the view of the examiner. Okay, so if you haven't seen that yet, head to YouTube, okay, and have a look at that there. Okie dokie. Okay, so if you got my email this morning, you know what we're gonna talk about today. Yeah. So today I'm gonna tell you what an IELTS writing 7 looks like. Okay, because I do think that a lot of people can get the 7 just because they don't know what they have to write. All right, what they have to write, how they have to write, the grammar that they need, okay, the vocabulary that they need, and all of these things, okay? So as you already know, I have been working with the IELTS exam for over 7 years, all right? And I have talked to a lot of examiners. I have been to a lot of workshops for IELTS teachers, all right? And I look at around 15 to 20 writings per week, okay? And fortunately, in this year, I've had a few students who achieved the 7 in writing, okay? So that's why today I'm gonna tell you what I see, all right? And I think I am the right person to tell you that because as I said before, I've spoken to examiners, okay? I've taken part in workshops, but most importantly, I have helped lots of students. All right, so basically what we're gonna talk about today is I'm gonna tell you what I see that students are not doing to get the 7, okay? And then I will tell you what you should do, okay? So it's gonna be 2 parts, all right? Because hi, hello, how are you? If you have any questions, you can pop the questions in there, okay? I'll probably answer the questions towards the end of the live, okay? But if you have any questions, just ask them now, no problem at all, okay, dokie? All right, cool. So I have a list here, okay, of things actually. And then, I believe that the first thing that people should look at, okay, guys, is the structure, okay? Because when anyone gets in touch with me, I ask them, what score do you need, okay? And most people want the 7. Even people who need a 6, they say, oh, Fabi, it would be amazing if I could get the 7. I'm like, oh, it's possible. No worries, we can do that. Okay, it's not easy, but we can do it, no problem at all. So when I look at the writing, I look at it and I think about what is missing here to get to the 7, okay? So one thing that is very common is the structure, okay? If you saw my live last week, guys, there are people, okay, who actually have very good English but can get the 7 just because their structure is not very good. Okay, so if I were you, if you want a 7+ in writing, the first thing you should think about is to, to look at your structure, okay? What do I mean by the structure, all right? Is how many paragraphs do you have? Okay, I talked about that last week. Head to my YouTube, I have a full live on that if you want to have a look at it, okay? So because if you have a good structure, all right, your writing is organized, okay? And if your writing is organized, it's easy for the examiner to read. If it's easy for the examiner to read, you will get a good score, okay? So that's the first thing I think you should look at, because, and I'm gonna tell you what I see a lot, okay? I see, for example, students with a writing with 8 paragraphs. 8 paragraphs. And sometimes one paragraph is 1 sentence. All right. So this person is not going to get a 7. Okay. So when we think about the structure, okay, we should think about the paragraphs. Okay. We should think about the organization. Okay. Because if it's not organized, you are not going to get your 7. All right, so that's the first thing that I look at when I'm gonna help anyone who wants to get a 7 in IELTS writing. Okay, so we look at the structure, okay, paragraphs and the organization. All right, so that's the first thing. And to me, this is extremely important also, because when the examiner gets your writing, that's the first thing the examiner sees. Okay, if I give my student a task, for example, tell me the advantages and disadvantages of something and give me your opinion, I want to see 5 paragraphs. I want to see the introduction, then I want to see advantages of the topic, the disadvantages of the topic, then I want to see a full paragraph with the opinion, and then I want to see the conclusion, okay? Imagine I'm the examiner. If I look at the writing and there are 8 paragraphs, I say, not good. This person doesn't know how to organize the writing. So you're not gonna get a 7. Okay, guys? So first thing you should think about, structure. Second thing, cohesive devices, okay? If you need help with cohesive devices, head to my YouTube channel. There is a video there called Linking Words, okay? Linking words should get a 7 in writing, okay? Because, as I said before, there is a whole section, okay, of the band descriptors, okay? That's how the examiners will look at your writing, okay? So they are looking for this. They are looking for cohesive devices. Okay, they're looking for linking words, they're looking for connectors, they're looking for conjunctions. They are looking for that. If you don't have that, you're not going to get a 7 either. Okay, so you need, however, you need although, you need in addition, you need moreover, you need for example, you need for instance, you need all of these words if you want to get a 7 plus. Okay, so just to recap, we talked about the structure of the writing, which is for organization, okay, and talking about the paragraphs. Then cohesive devices, okay, because the cohesive devices will help with the flow of your writing. And if your writing flows well, you will get a good score. Okay, guys, so that's one of the first things I look at also. And I've been finding that the students getting the 7 are the ones that manage to make the writing flow really, really well. Okay, all right, cool. Next one is vocabulary. Okay, but they say, oh, Fabi, that's obvious. We need vocabulary, right? Yeah. But the problem is, what I see most of the time, okay, are students being very, very safe. Okay, so students that are safe, they tend to use the same vocabulary and they don't try to use any vocabulary that is more academic, more sophisticated, and less common. Okay, so if you're looking for a 7 plus in writing, that's what you need. Okay, guys, so what I do with my students, okay, all the time, all right, I go ahead and as I look at the writing, okay, of course, after we talked about the structure, after we talked about the paragraphs, I look at the writing and I keep thinking, how can they say this better? How can they say this better? And that's what you should be doing too. Okay, so let's say if you tend to use 5 words to describe something because you don't know that one word, maybe you should take the time and learn that word, because that's what I tell my students. Okay, I said, hey, this one here, you used this word, and then you can use only one to describe it. Okay, and they're like, oh yeah, but I didn't know this word. And I said, now you know, start using. Okay, so that's something that we have to think about. Okay, and then also when it comes to vocabulary, okay, one thing you have to do also would be maybe just try your best to go ahead and know the spelling of the word, okay, and of course know the collocation. All right, so collocations are so important. Okay, I think in a few weeks we're gonna have a live all about collocations. All right, so collocations are basically words that go together. All right, so do you say make the bed or do the bed, or you say make the bed? Why? Because that's how you say it. Okay, so if you say do the bed, something like that in your writing, you're not gonna get a 7, right? So you have to know your collocations. Okie dokie. All right, because if you don't use them, or if you use them and you make a mistake, not gonna get the 7. Okay, I hope I'm not scaring you right now, but I'm gonna help you in a minute. Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna tell you everything. I'm gonna tell you the best way to do it. All right, cool. All right, so then the next one is of course grammar. Okay, guys, unfortunately, okay, the people who have been really struggling to get the 7, you know, they do the IELTS many times and they get a 6.5, 6.5, 6.5. It's usually because they are making a lot of grammar mistakes. That's why with my students, I always take the time to study grammar, all right? Because I've seen it myself, okay? So many students, they're actually using good vocabulary, structure is good, great organization, lots of cohesive voices, but they're still making a lot of grammar mistakes, okay? So if you want a 7+, I would suggest having a look at grammar, okay, guys? So if you're working with a tutor, with a teacher, okay, if you're studying for the IELTS at a school, I highly recommend you look at all your grammar mistakes. So if you're working with someone, you probably have your writing checked for you. Okay, so go back and look at your grammar, because so many people can get to the 7 because of their grammar. All right. Okay, so let's recap a little bit. Okay, so what is a 7 in writing? Okay, so a 7 in writing is a writing that is organized, okay, meaning that has the amount of paragraphs that an essay should have, okay, is a writing that flows well, okay, is a writing that has cohesive devices, okay, and to have these cohesive devices, let's come down to grammar again, you also need complex sentences. All right, what is a complex sentence, Fabi? It's a sentence that doesn't only have subject and verb. It has 2 parts. That's a complex sentence, okay? That's what you need if you want a 7+, okay? So when you have these complex sentences, you need the cohesive devices. You can't have complex sentences without the cohesive devices, so they go together, you see? So then when you think about that, so the cohesive devices will help you with the grammar too. All right, so you have both. All right, and then you're gonna get a great score if you manage to do that. Okay, so when it comes to vocabulary, all right, when it comes to vocabulary, we need more academic words, we need more sophisticated words, we need less common words, okay, and we also need collocations. Collocations are words that go together, okay? And my suggestion is practice these words, use the words that you're confident, okay, about using. Just because if you make a mistake, maybe then you're not gonna get a very good score, unfortunately. All right, and the grammar. Okay, guys. So yeah, so as I said before, I think that the grammar is the thing that's stopping a lot of people. That's why in these lives, I devote full lives to grammar. Okay, actually on Wednesday, we'll be talking about the passive. Okay, which, because yeah, the passive will definitely help you with your 7. All right. And it will help you also express yourself a little bit better. And oh my God, I see so many people try to use it and making so many mistakes. So if you try to use it, guys, it's a 6.5. But if you use it correctly, you are a 7. That's why I think it's important to take the time and revise a few things, okay? Look, guys, I've been helping people who are actually quite fluent in English, but never studied grammar. And now they can't get the 7 just because they never studied grammar. Okay, and now they need it. They're fluent, they can communicate very well. They make a mistake here and there, but when it comes down to writing, they can't quite express themselves. And when they do, they make a lot of grammar mistakes in writing, and they can't get the 7. So that's why sometimes it's a good idea to step back, okay, and focus on your grammar. Okay, because that's what's stopping a lot of people from getting the 7. Okay. All right, cool. So, okay. So, I gave you a lot of information, right? So there are lots of things that you need to do to get your 7, okay? So, but you ask me now, Fabi, that's too much. It is, but a 7 is a high score, okay? But it's totally possible if you follow the steps, if you do the things I just mentioned, okay? So what I think you should do now, I think that you should use everything I told you today, okay? Write everything down and use it as a checklist, okay? So know that if you have all the things I told you today, you are likely to get a 7 in writing, okay? So I'm gonna tell you everything again and you can take notes, okay? So to get a 7+ in writing, number 1, you need a good structure, okay? What I mean by a good structure, I mean the right amount of paragraphs, okay? And you need organization, okay? That's the first step. Then you need cohesive devices. Okay, so structure, number 1, cohesive devices, number 2. What are the cohesive devices? That's however, even though, all of these things. Okay, so that's what you need. All right. Then, okay, the next thing you need is good vocabulary. By good vocabulary, I mean, so maybe you can have different sections. So you can have vocabulary, meaning academic vocabulary should be part of your checklist. Sophisticated vocabulary should be part of your checklist. And good collocations should be part of your checklist. All right, so maybe you could have like under vocabulary, you should have all of these 3, okay? The next item on the checklist should be grammar. And again, guys, a lot of people can get the 7 just because they make too many grammar mistakes. All right. So when it comes to grammar, it's, are you choosing the right grammar and are you using it accurately? This could be one item on your checklist. Okay. Then the next thing should be the grammar that you're using. So I believe a lot in passive. So passive is very, very important. Okay. And also the grammar of the cohesive devices. Okay, so that's something else that I think it's important, okay? So what do you have? You have like 4 items on your list. Okay, guys, so you have 4 items on your list. And under vocabulary, you have about 3. And then under grammar, you have about 3. Okay, guys? So feel free to pause it, go back and watch again, okay? But then once you have this checklist, okay, now you ask me, Fabi, how do I do that? Okay, so just get a writing that you've done recently, okay? Look at your writing and look at the checklist. Do you have everything I told you you need? Okay, so that's something to think about, all right? But of course, sometimes it's really hard to know if we have what we think we have. So you look at it and you go, oh my God, I have no idea. Or you look at it and go, I think I have everything. And then someone else looks at it and said, no, you don't, okay? So my advice to you is, if you are the kind of person who can't quite analyze your own writing, ask for someone help, okay? Ask a professional to look at your writing for you, and then maybe tell the professional, say, hey, do I have this? Yes or no. Do I have that? Yes or no, okay? So with my students, we work a lot with checklists, okay? So I tell them, like I'm telling you right now, okay? So I tell them what we need, and then they do the writing, and then we check if they have it or not, okay? Because honestly, guys, if you don't have all of these things I talked about today, you are not likely to get the 7+, all right? And I think it really pays off to get someone to check your writing for you, okay? Just to make sure you have everything, just to make sure you are on the right track to get your 7+, okay? Another thing you can do, okay? So one thing that I do a lot with my students, if you're studying for the IELTS, you probably have IELTS materials, okay? So IELTS books, okay? Most IELTS books, every time they have a writing task there, writing task 2, okay? Every time they have the writing task, they usually have a sample, okay, or a 9 of that task, all right? So I explore this with my students all the time, okay, guys? So just like this book here. So I really like this collection. Oh, okay. IELTS, okay, Cambridge IELTS. Okay, this one is the academic one, but you can also use the general one. Okay, so this book here, okay, they have the task, and then at the end of the book, they have a sample or an example of that task. Sometimes they have a 5, sometimes they have an 8, sometimes they have a 7, sometimes they have a 9, okay? So my suggestion is, explore these ones, explore these 9s, explore the 8s, explore the 7. If you want a 7, check what they have there. Okay, so I told you what you need, okay? But then go to the book, look at it, check what they have, and then you compare with your writing. That's something you can do too, okay? All right, and then you definitely know what you need, okay? And then if you have all of that, guys, you're highly likely to get a 7 or more. Okay. All right, so do you have any questions? Some people, they said hello, but there are no questions there. No questions, no hi. Okay, no questions today. No. All right. So yeah, guys, so my main advice to you today is watch this video again if you can, all right? And then just use everything I told you and create a checklist, okay? And every time you do your piece of writing, every time you have someone look at your writing for you, okay, go ahead and check that. Check you have everything that you need to get a 7, okay? Good structure, paragraphs, okay, cohesive devices, check you have good vocabulary, academic vocabulary, sophisticated vocabulary, and also, of course, the collocations, okay, and grammar, okay. I think passive is very good to have too. And then, of course, you need to have complex sentences, okay, so you need those complex sentences. And then, of course, be accurate, okay, when you're using your grammar. Okie dokie. So no questions today? No? All right, no problem. Okay, guys. So if you need extra help with the IELTS test, okay, like I said before, these lives are for writing, but I can help you with all the parts of the test, okay? If you need any help with anything, just send me a message, okay? Or send me an email. My email is fabi@fabienglish.com, okay? And if you want to do a free writing course to learn more about the structure of writing task 2, head to my website, www.fabienglish.com, okay? Head there and you will find the IELTS Writing Made Easy mini course, okay? So it's a mini course that helps you understand the structure of the writing task 2. All right, guys. Okay. So if you have any questions, pop the questions down here, okay? And send me an email if you need anything. All right, see you. Bye.